Welcome, I'm Daniel Shin, and this is Discussion with the Dean on Christianity and Law. So, Dean, I've very much enjoyed today's lecture, particularly because I'm a huge fan of Calvin. But there seems to be a different, unique aspect of how Jesus is presenting the arguments today, in today's lecture, than what he did previously. So could you briefly go over the differences?
Absolutely. So the arguments today, while they include a kind of conventional, straightforward, technical, legal argument about what is working on the Sabbath, or how do we recognize the Christ according to prophecy, the argument continues through those with a different goal, which is to help people realize that the very structure by which they're making their judgments about things are wrongful. And this can be compared, and this illustrates a very common tactic in argumentation, which is you not only need to argue at the level of sort of technical things we can demonstrate with logic or fact, but you have to bring about a transformation in the person you're counseling or arguing with, so they can actually see what it is that you're asking them to judge and conclude. This part of the argument that requires a transformation of your audience was illustrated today in John 7, and by Jesus saying, it's not just that you're wrong, it's that the way that you're wrong shows that your fundamental approach to matters is wrong. Mm-hmm. And this is the overall structure. And so at one level, this is just a very good illustration of Jesus reminding us at the level of how we should argue that we have to be aware of the need for transforming our audience's conception of judgment and who they are, elevating that by helping them realize they're bad before the argument can proceed.
I think this also presents a great opportunity for Christian attorneys when they're counseling. Obviously, a challenge is sometimes you have to correct your clients when they have a wrong view of the circumstances and what they require. So how do you think as Christian attorneys we can approach that in a way where we can elevate our clients to see the circumstances properly and truly?
Yeah. Well, very gently, you can do what Jesus did, which is when you have a client who wants to proceed in a particular way, or who has formed a judgment that is problematic, you can, as an expert on the law, show them where technically their arguments have gone astray, as Jesus does. But then, very gently, bring them back to the question, why is this your goal? Why do you want to go about things in this way? And suggest to them models that, quite frankly, elevate them, mm-hmm. which is to say, are there other ways to solve this problem that will actually answer something deeper, something better, something stronger in you? You mentioned Calvin at the beginning. You know, I tried to analogize this whole lecture to what Calvin says about wisdom, which is, he says, our wisdom really is knowledge of two things, our knowledge of God and our knowledge of ourselves. And so if we want to help the people that we're counseling, sometimes what we want to do is speak to them of what is godlike, what is righteous, what is true, what is good. But sometimes, and Jesus illustrates this today, what we need to do is point out to them where they're going aside, where there's a problem in their own judgment. It has to be done gently sometimes. Sometimes it has to be done firmly. Mm-hmm. But we want to learn from Jesus Christ these two motions. Because as Calvin says, these things are related. To gain knowledge about ourselves, true knowledge, is to gain knowledge about God. To gain knowledge about God is to gain true knowledge about ourselves. And so wisdom grows in this tandem. And sometimes it's expressed in argumentation, more on one side or more on the other.
Well, I'm very grateful for the richness of the lectures. So if you are more interested in the extended version of the lecture, please look for the lecture on our website or on YouTube.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thanks, Dean.